Rashad, why you
Anyway,
didn't hit me up?
Hey, Rashad.
What's up, Rashad?
Thank you, Rashad.
brother, I love you, brother.
Trump, lit,
What's up,
any,
Rashad? What
yeah.
it do, boy?
We walking around the world.
What's up? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Rashad Milligan. If you are new to the channel, this is the road to 10K subs. Without further ado, let's get into it, man. A bit of a late stream. It's ironic. 11:30 a.m. is considered a late stream for me, but that is definitely a late stream. I'm not gonna lie. I slept in a little bit today. I was out late last night and things of that sort, doing some things for something that you'll see on the channel soon in the next coming days until the end of the week and things of that sort. So that was fun and all of that, but I just wanted to make sure I got the most of my experience in my off days before I head back to the office tomorrow. So I slept in a little bit today. You guys don't care about. What you guys care about is D'Angelo. And I want to say once again, rest in peace to D'Angelo. Rest in peace for the first time on camera to D'Angelo. And the iconic D'Angelo, 51 years old. It's a bit of a touchy subject for me. However, we are going to do what we have to do. And we're going to all put on our brave faces. And yeah, man, we're going to send one up for D'Angelo. So with that being said, let's get into it. All right. Statement from D'Angelo's family. The shining star of our family has dimmed its light for us in this life. ... The shining star of our family has dimmed his light for us in this life. After a prolonged and courageous battle with the C word, we are heartbroken to announce that Michael D'Angelo Archer, known to the fans and as the world as D'Angelo, has been called home, departing from this life October 14, 2025. We are saddened that we can only leave dear memories with our family, with his family, but we are eternally grateful for the legacy of the extraordinarily moving music he leaves behind. We ask that you respect our privacy during this difficult time, but we invite all of you to join us in mourning his passing while also celebrating the gift of song that he's left with the world. I'm going to maximize my screen a little bit. Make sure I was good. Okay, cool. All right. This is what his son said. I just sat here watching my daddy die after feeling like it was the first time he and I were truly building. He was there when I needed him the most after the passing of my mama. Unfortunately, time ran out. I know it wasn't done with malicious intent, but today I'm not in any state of mind to make any statements. I wasn't planning to. I'm grateful for your thoughts and prayers during these difficult times, as it has been a very rough and sad year for me, Michael tells People in his statement. I ask that people please continue to keep me in your thoughts, as it will not be easy, but one thing that both of my parents taught me was that to be very strong, and I intend to do that. Prayers up to Michael Archer the second, for sure. Very tough year for him. Tragedies on both sides with Angie and now with D'Angelo. Oh my goodness. And both of them are in the limelight. See, the thing about it is both of them are in the limelight. So both of them is like stories and people are talking about it and tributes. So you're constantly reminded about it around the clock. And it's your mom, it's your dad. And that's a terrible type of pain to have it within months of each other. And to finally be building something with your father after losing your mom and then that happening is, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry to Michael. I'm so sorry to Michael Archer the second. Now let's go to some of the celebrities. Tyler the Creator. On my 9th birthday, March 6, 2000, I had landed at Sam Goody at the South Bay Galleria. I had $20 in my birthday money, and my eyes were set on leaving one thing, Voodoo by D'Angelo. Sightless World had left and right on loop. Brown Sugar became a staple at home, and Nothing Even Matters by Miss Lauryn Hill was on repeat. So I had no doubt that Voodoo would deliver. I had no idea that it would help shape my musical DNA. The amount of raps I've written to BOOTY on the front porch that year and the amount of times that I've tried to mimic vocal phrasing on Send It On, the scratches of the disc ended, repeating on the root, dot, 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 too many. One More Again still puts me in the same trance as it did when I first heard it. That dragon sway of tempo that sounds like the porch sitting rocking chair. That grumpy but loose bass line. The subject of it, that feeling that he's describing, he's felt like a mirror. I took that and wrote ring, 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 hence the One More Again line. I couldn't understand how someone could write something so simple but personal, but broad but genius. That's how special he was. A savant, a true alien. I'm so lucky to have gotten my copy of Voodoo when I did. We are lucky to have been alive to enjoy his art. My musical DNA was helped shape by this man. Forever grateful. Safe travels. And there it is, man. Man. Shout out to Tyler. Beyonce. Rest in peace, Michael Eugene Archer, known to the world of music as the imitable D'Angelo. We thank you for your beautiful music, your voice, your proficiency on the piano, your artistry. You were a pioneer of neo soul that changed and transformed rhythm and blues forever. We will never forget you. Oh, they misspelled rhythm. Where is it? Where's the rhythm at? Oh, rhythm and oh, yikes. Well, it's okay. It's all right. They were emotional time. Saul Williams. I got a list of commands waiting at the palm of my hands. We live in hand to mouth. You wanna be somebody, see somebody, gotta be somebody. Got a list of demands waiting at the palm of my hands. Let me see. We live in hand to mouth, hand to mouth. Wah, 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 wah. Here we go. We're gonna go here to the source. Sometimes when Dean right? Hold on. Give me a second. I gotta get back to screen share audio. Sometimes when Dean and I were in the same city, he'd ask me to come hang with him in his hotel room. The main thing he wanted to discuss was poetry. He'd inquire enthusiastically about the lives of the young poets he admired. What is mom's like? Well, brother, now you get a chance to ask for yourself. D had a sense of that poets were haunted by the same way he was, by spirits and voices. They were not frightened visitations, rather, it was a way of communicating multidimensionally. D often visited the spirits of musicians that had long left the playing, but could be conjured through sonic innovation. They would speak to him, and he'd share some of those conversations with us. I first started hanging out with D when we were recording Voodoo at Electric Ladyland in New York City. Jimmy, Spirit, and Cat was alive and present. Most of the time when I was there, it'd be just him and our mutual friend, mixing engineer uh, Roussel Alvado. We had both been raised in the church with preachers as fathers and spiritual evolutions that brought us well beyond our upbringing. It gave us lots to laugh and sing about. As I reflect on his beautiful spirit and the music he gifted us, which was only when he saw fit, I remember having voodoo recordings for several literal years before they came out. I'm reminded of how lucky I felt whenever I was in the room with them. Technically, I was there because I had been asked to write liner notes for voodoo, which I eventually did and are shared above. But I really just was basking in and every opportunity to hear an angel sing up close. So many of my peeps that love D are already on the other side, so I can only imagine that it's his turn to turn. It's his turn to hear. Excuse me, his favorite angels sing close up. Liner notes of Voodoo released on January 5th, 2000. To be the son of a preacher man was once African American royalty. As traditional churches have grown empty, many of us have been left with the wonder of these haunted castles that displaced Prince of Denmark contemplating the paths of our mothers, that electric lady that landed us here in the first place, the Aquarian age, the matriarchal age. And if we were to exist as men and knew what many of us must learn to embrace and nurture that which is the feminine with all of our hearts, he arts. But is there any room in the artistry in hip hop's descendant, Mancian? Have we walked our Timberlands soulless, dot, 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 soulless? When you pour that wine on the ground into in that video shoot that has become your life, will you be ready to hear the voice that pours from the bottom to inebriate the very ground which we walk? It is libations such as that are the start of the voodoo ceremony. And let us not forget that is why we have come. We have come in the name of Jimmy, Sly, Marvin, Stevie, all artists formerly known as spirits, and all spirits formerly known as stars. We have come in the tradition of burning bushes, burning ghettos, burning spliffs, and the ever burning candles of our bedrooms and silent chambers. We have come ever bearing instruments and our voices, falsetto and baritone, percussion and horns. We have adorned in the apparel of the anointed, leather and feathers, jeans and shirts, linen and cashmere, and even polyester. We have come to seduce and serenade the night of the power of darkness. We speak to the darkness not as ignorance, but as the unknown and the mysteries of the unseen. I don't like this. This a little too crazy for me. I ain't gonna lie. We're gonna keep this thing moving. Hold on. One here. People need reflection. I regret not having more time with you. Your undeniable beauty and talent were not of this world, and a presence not of this world needs protection in a world that coveted its light and the anointing of God. You, sir, moved us, stirred us, inspired, and even intimidated others to action with your genius. Thank you for being a beacon of life to a generation and beyond who had no remembrance of a legacy that preceded us. Thank you for charting the course and making space during a time when no similar space really existed. You imagine the unity of strength and sensitivity in black manhood to a generation that only saw itself as to having one or the other. It is my earnest prayer that you are in peace, far away from selfishness, fear and or controlling interests, far from possessiveness, far from greed, far from manipulation, far from exploitation, far from intentionally designed chaos, and that you, brother, are in peace and bliss and eternal light, fulfillment with our Father in heaven. I love you and I miss you. May God grant you peace and shelter to your family, true friends, and genuine appreciators, Brother King. Brother, comma, King. Man, nothing even matters. Nothing even matters at all. At all. Maxwell.
Again, I want to send lots of love to my boy D'Angelo. Speedy recovery. I'm just standing in for the night. He will be back to do his thing. We thank him for the promise and the path that he brought to all of us in Neo Soul. So I know the situation and I'm grateful to be part of it. So thank you for letting me be.
Oh, there's
Again,
Maxwell acknowledging Neo Soul because one of the first things I thought of when I heard the news yesterday was this music reviewer. She did a thing on like Neo Soul doesn't exist. It didn't exist, and it was a very interesting thing. Hold on, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. Of Neo Soul didn't exist because I've talked to her before, and she's cool people. I like what she does in music. Let me see if I could just find her page because now everybody's posting about Neo Soul. Let me see. But there's Maxwell acknowledging it. I thought that was something that was interesting. Let me see. Let me see. Where is she? Hold on, let me see. Hold on, hold on. We're looking for this thing I saw on Neo Soul literally last week. If not last week. Oh, okay. Here it goes. Nosa. Here's her page. Let me see what she said about D'Angelo. Because it's just crazy. She was literally talking about this. Woke up this morning and remember D'Angelo really gone. Stevie, keep taking your vitamins 100%. Neo for your soul. And while we're on the topic of Neo Soul, a playlist for your consideration. See, this is literally a week ago today. Here it is right here. That junk was just crazy. She was like, Neo Soul is not real, or is it? The funniest thing about D'Angelo is that he absolutely hated the term neo soul because it's not a real term. And she
Find
said,
that it might have been the industry's invention and not the artist's intention. So let's take a deep dive.
and then you hear the music in the background, but she was saying that D'Angelo hated neo soul. A lot of people didn't believe in it. They were like, I make music, and people just categorize it as neo soul and things of that sort and everything like that. Shouts out to Jack Freeman as well. My dog, Jack Freeman. All right, her. This is one of the only people that could get me to come out of a hiatus. I'm so devastated. I don't know if anyone understands how much he meant to me or even to all of us. We still don't really know how to celebrate our legends while they are here, but I digress. I'm so grateful I got to meet him and sing with him and know him. I only wish we could have spent more time creating. I'm grateful for a lifetime and updates from my brother, Squint. And I'm grateful for the conversations me and D had. The amount of times I've listened to the Jazz Cafe live album, studied the BG background vocals and arrangements, had brown sugar versus voodoo debates you wouldn't believe. Magic isn't the word. Inspiration isn't the word. He was spiritual, is the soundtrack to the most important memories. What a gift of a person. Dang, I'm sad. All I can say is thank you. Till we meet again. Dang, man. Dang, man. Ah, goodness gracious. Uh, I want to look up. What did I want to look up? It was something that she said that it made me want to look up something. Who did I want to look up? Who did I want to look up? Background vocals, everything like that. He was spiritual. Okay, I can't remember right now. Oh, yes, him talking about social media because they're like he didn't get his flowers while he smelled them. D'Angelo wasn't. He was kind of like a hiding guy. But remember, there was a Atlanta episode about it. I don't know if you guys know. It's a Atlanta episode where Donald Glover he spends like the entire episode going through all these portals to meet D'Angelo, and it's not even a real D'Angelo. It's just a guy acting like D'Angelo. He's like, "This is not even D'Angelo. What the heck did I do all of this for?" And it was like it was a great episode. But yeah, D'Angelo, he wasn't on social media. He was one of those guys that was like, kind of secretive and stuff like that. And I think it's kind of difficult giving, the proper flowers all the time from as many people as you can get from the world when you're not on social media. To be honest, to be honest. Uh, so I found it and then let me go. I'm gonna change this. Hold on. Change the speed a little bit because I wanna watch this. I haven't watched this. We're not talking about Russell Simmons. Hey, prayers up the Busta Rhymes, man. Prayers up the Busta Rhymes. Did Busta say anything? I didn't even think about. Like I always forget because Busta is like kind of, you know what I'm saying, like blended in with generations and stuff. Keep forgetting Busta is from like the '90s, bro. Is there anything from this? Blessings don't ever stop and they won't ever again. One of my favorite groups ever, Mob Deep. Yeah, 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 yeah. Rest easy, yeah, 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 for sure. Shouts out to Mob Deep. Shouts out to hip hop for sure. Man, Busta Rhymes, I ain't gonna lie, he like really be connecting with everybody. I know someone was like, Busta Rhymes was like a mean person when they met him and stuff like that, and people have said that. I don't know about all that. I don't know Busta Rhymes personally, but yeah, he seems like a good hip hop savant. Like him, LL Cool J, they seem like they be everywhere supporting people with hip hop and everything. A side note, Carrie Hilson. My thoughts are fragmented. "Quote unquote Lady" is the second most played song in my entire music collection. Wow. You have 3 whole songs in my top 25 most played songs. I was inspired by you. Many were, many will be. The first 2 albums were really more impactful for me coming up in the game. Your ballad with Lauren made me dream about that love. Your collab with Raphael was perfection. Your way of breaking musical rules was freeing. Your approach to songwriting and arranging was freeing. And the horns, I never got to meet you. I wish I could have worked with you. I should have tried harder. You were immortal. You leave earth, but not the hearts, nor the ears, nor the spirits. God said, send them up. Send them up, though. Send them right back to you. Rest in peace to D'Angelo. Next. Anthony Hamilton. Oh, you know Anthony Hamilton. That's neo soul too. If you're cool, then I'm cool, then we're cool, man. There we go. I had the honor of singing background for my brother D'Angelo early in my career, watching the true genius shape what soul music will become. He taught how to lead, how to pick up the right musicians, how to make background vocals feel like a part of the story. But beyond the music, he taught me to be myself unapologetically, to stand firm in who I am and never to be ashamed of it. I wouldn't be the artist I am today without those lessons. Praying hard for his children and family. Rest easy, brother. Your voice changed the game and your spirit will always live through the music. If you're cool, then I'm cool, then we're cool. What is he talking about? You have to be a real sucker to support Trump if you're farming. He's a real. Oh, what is this? What's going on? I don't even. All right. Anyways, Most Def. He went on Instagram Live. I feel like Most Def be having like the most real lives and stuff like that, bro. Like it's just raw emotion. I remember he did this like he was praying for the people of Palestine and stuff like that. And I don't know. I just like how like real like most stuff is with his emotions and stuff and sharing it. And shouts out to Layla as well. Going too soon. If you love somebody, make sure you tell them. This made me listen to Big Brother before I went live, by the way, when I saw this. But this is what Chris Rock said about D'Angelo. Um, Red Redemption 2. My favorite D'Angelo anecdote is that he was so obsessed with Red Redemption that he not only wrote a song for Red Redemption 2, but he play tested it constantly and all the time. D'Angelo reached out to Pavlovich through through an unnamed intermediary. He would come here to Rockstar's new New York office and just play the game. We weren't even talking about doing the music. Pavlovich said, when D'Angelo comes through, he shows up at midnight and he's playing the game until 4 in the morning. Each time he was just like, this is incredible. It just blows my mind. He's such a fan. I never seen someone that excited. Shouts out to D'Angelo, bro. It's funny how like he was so profound and deep, like in all his music and songwriting and stuff like that, and like artistic ability. But he just took like so much joy in simple things. Like I don't know, like that's cool to me. One of my favorite D'Angelo stories as well is from Questlove. Questlove, when "Awaken My Love" came out in 2016 from Childish Gambino. Like Redbone and all that. A lot of those songs were like heavily influenced by D'Angelo, changing your voice to a different, what I'm saying, falsetto type of thing. Like Redbone is like, ah, hey, be creeping, hey, be creep. Like that's like all D'Angelo. And so like, Questlove, he listened to the album and he woke him up at 4 a.m. to talk to him about the album. After on-screen magic that was Atlanta and following the commentary offered up by Donald himself that he no longer wanted to make music under the Childish Gambino name, I had to almost resign to the reality of going hungry when it came to new musical material of the future Lando Castilian. When Glover announced that the new Childish Gambino album "Awaken My Love" in November, I was a member of the elated masses clutching my copy of Because the Internet and praying that this was the instance of a true inspiration and not just a case of capitalizing on heightened buzz. After the first two singles, Me and Your Mama and Redbone, released, I knew that the album was going to be Gambino's turning point, a departure from the clever, uh, fellatio-centric punchlines of Cul-de-sac and Camp, and an exponential musical evolution from the promising elements of Because the Internet. Upon hearing Awaken My Love, however, I can say I never saw this coming. And neither could the Roots drummer and all-around music genius Questlove, who recently, shouts out to Questlove, man. We need to give Questlove his love and, just everything that man, shouts out to Questlove, bro. Questlove, we love and appreciate you so much, brother, and your love for music and your genius and everything that you mean to this world and society and black people, bro. Like, I appreciate you, Questlove. Um, what did he say? He was outpouring excitement and surprise over the album, going as far to reveal he woke up D'Angelo at 4 a.m. to geek over Gambino's latest thing of work. Dude, I'm so effed up right now. I can't even form a proper hyperbolic sentence to explain to D'Angelo why I woke him up at 4 a.m. to listen to this. I'm like, when is the last time someone sucker punched me on this level? I mean, I knew all around the world in a day was coming, and it felt like a left turn. I'm about to blow the wigs off music historians, but I thought I was getting some fresh millennial 2016 hip hop stuff, and I got sucker punched. The last sucker punch in black music I remember, in which no one had a clue was coming, was Sly's "There's a Riot Going On." Read my Instagram about it, the flag. I'm writing in real time. Jesus Christ, the author of We Are Werewolf Bar Mitzvah, just sunned the ish out of me in the best way possible. I was not expecting a trip to Detroit circa 1972 at United Sound Studios. I haven't written or been stunned by an album I wasn't expecting since the time I got the advance of Back to Back. The music is so lush, man. I can see the kaleidoscope color mesh with the Westbound logo. Dude, I can't curb my enthusiasm. All I know is P4K try to play him again with these ratings, there will be a riot going on. I remember I'm glad that Donald got this album out before his dad passed, bro, because I know his dad was probably the most excited for it. And this album and 31520, which ended up becoming Out of Vista, were like both albums directly for his father, which is when he stopped rapping and everybody's like, please rap again. Like, salute to your dad, please rap again. And he did on what he called the last album. Is it that last album, Bando and Stone and the New World? We shall see, but it feels like it's going to be the last album. So, Donald, obviously, you know what it is, bro. I got a whole 30-minute video on this channel, like just talking about you and appreciating you. But Questlove, I appreciate you so much, bro. And like I said, the D'Angelo episode on I think it was the final season of Atlanta. That episode was just great. And then he did like the MF Doom episode where he had Earl Sweatshirt kind of voicing MF Doom. It was cool. Quest describes the new Gambino album as a sucker punch, and I couldn't agree with it more. Consider the album opens up with Me and Your Mama, the first single released off the LP. The real surprise doesn't happen until the album's second track, an outburst of funk and soul that someone locked War and P-Funk in a room and said, go for it. And I think that's Have Some Love. Have a word for your brother. And his attempt for some comparison, Quest puts his reaction to Awaken My Love alongside the timeless musical classics of Prince's Around the World in a Day, Sly, and the Family Stones, There's a Riot Going On, and Amy Winehouse back to back. That's some pretty hefty company to be thrust into, and considering Questlove's qualifications, it's not an opinion to be taken lightly. Considering Gambino's past works, it's safe to say that this album is going to take some time to fully digest and will likely be met with incredibly mixed reactions, but to see Questlove's over-the-top reaction should be a red flag that we got a potential classic on our hands. Awaken My Love, man, that is crazy, bro. He said, I was suspecting some 2016 hip-hop stuff, and I got some funk. What the heck? Jilly from Philly, man. Yesterday, remember, she posted the thing that was like, thank you, D'Angelo, like randomly. She said, let me stop you right now. Mutual friend shared that our beloved D'Angelo was unwell a few days ago. I sent love yesterday. I didn't know he was leaving us today. Oh, my condolences. Oh, I was like, what happened? All my condolences to his family, his musical fam, and his fans. I'm a fan and I mourn. D Keaton and now D'Angelo, it hurts. She said, big, strong, warm hug. She said she never met D'Angelo, which was crazy because they're like the two know what I'm saying, kind of faces of neo soul, like, it's like Erica Badu and everything like that. I told you a long time ago, you ain't never gonna understand everything, and everything ain't meant for you. Nor I understand. I never met D'Angelo, but I love him, respect him, admire his gift. This loss hurts. That's what I said. D'Angelo was like, bro was like, you know what I'm saying, secluded. So it's like people talking about he didn't get his flowers. I feel like you got to go outside to get your flowers. Like you got to be here, bro. You got to be on. Like one thing Drake will never miss is his flowers, bro. He can act like he don't have his flowers, but Drake is outside. Drake is at the club. Drake is on tours constantly. Drake is constantly putting out music. Drake is, you know, he's on social media. So he gets his flowers constantly. I feel like. Let me stop it. All right, all right. R.I.P. Genius. So she never knew him. Here it is, the day before. I feel so high. I love you, D'Angelo. I love you, Erica. I love you, The Roots. I love you, Bette Midler. I love you, Moonchild. Shout out Moonchild. I love you, Stevie. I love you, Andre 3000. I love you, B. I love you, Miss Jilly from Philly. Blessing to everybody seeing this, John. I love my time. And that was like kind of like our warning to D'Angelo, but we didn't know what was gonna happen, man. But it was right in front of our faces, man. Um, Shouts out to Jill Scott, man. Let's take a long walk pot around the pot after dark. Anyways, Black men's health. Details of hip hop artists reveal the alarming state of black men's health. I want to take off my hoodie because I'm hot now. So I'm gonna do that. Shout out to Capital B, shout out to Margot Snipe, shout out to the hometown of Atlanta, GA. Friend of the channel, Irv Gotti, rest in peace, man. God rest your soul. All right, give me a second. Let's take a long walk around the park after dark. All right. Okay. Passings. R&B and hip hop artists reveal the alarming state of black men's mental health, or black men's health. Neo soul singer D'Angelo joins the growing list of Gen Z black male performers who are passing away relatively young. And here we go. Neo soul trailblazer D'Angelo, whose music defined a generation, passed away on Tuesday after a prolonged and courageous battle with the C word, according to his family. He was 51. DJ Premier mourned the singer on X, saying, quote unquote, such a sad loss in the passing of D'Angelo. We have so many great times. I'm going to miss you. Sleep peacefully, D. I love you, King. The Grammy winning singer and songwriter collaborated with Premier and other hip hop artists such as The Roots, Lauryn Hill, Method Man, and many others. D'Angelo joins a growing list of black male R&B and hip hop producers and artists who have passed away prematurely. Earlier this year, Murder Inc. co-founder Irv Gotti passed away. The 54-year-old openly discussed his longtime struggle with diabetes. Last year, hip hop greats DJ Mr. C and Rico Wade also passed away prematurely. DJ Mr. C, whose real name is Calvin LeBron, passed away at 57 from diabetes-related ailments. Wade, an Atlanta-based music producer, passed away at 52 of heart failure. For Derek Griffin, who grew up in Atlanta, falling in love with hip hop did not take long. De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest. He's always been a music fan, looking up to the men who brought lyrics alive. So when two members of his favorite groups passed away of premature passings, he was grief-stricken. David Julisier, who rapped with Trugoy and Dove, passed away in 2023 at the age of 54 after suffering congestive heart problems. And Malik Taylor, better known as Five Dog, passed away at 45 of diabetes complications in 2016. It was really heart-wrenching for me, Griffith said. They didn't have to pass away that young. Their passings were a part of what fuels his work as the director of Georgetown University Center of Men's Health Equity, where he works to combat health disparities that end black men's lives early. He often quotes hip-hop lyrics in his professional talks. Tupac, baby, is a part of him that spills into work. He's been thinking about how the fates of his favorite rap legends mirror the grim health trends that faced by black men overall, ever since he realized this was the way America would be celebrating 5 decades of hip hop. And as hip hop's 50th anniversary comes to a close, it ends with a sobering reminder that black men, many of the rappers, face a life expectancy that's among the lowest among any race and ethnicity groups in the country at 70 years old. When the news broke in 2023, a Virginia-based rapper, Magoo, passing at At 50, it underscored the fragility around health and the well-being around black men. At the same time, the hip-hop community was still mourning over the losses of DMX at 50, Biz Markie at 57, Coolio just shy of 60, Heavy D, who collapsed outside of his Beverly Hills home at the age of 44 due to pulmonary embolism or blood clot in the lungs. Though the unalivened by gun violence and drug overdoses may often make headlines, what's missed are the ways that black men are disproportionately vulnerable to losses due to the C word, heart disease, stroke, and chronic conditions such as diabetes. Premature passings often are chronic illnesses that can be prevented. It's a reality for black men, whether or not hip hop is in the room. Mark Anthony Neal, who chairs the Department of African and African American Studies at Duke University, said, one might assume high profile rappers would have had the money. It means to tap into quality healthcare and preventive medicine, but the growing list of black male rap stars who fail to live old age shows that their wealth does not exempt them from illness. And experts often say the pressure they face as artists in the spotlight may exacerbate the health conditions among them. Man, racism, rap, and risk. Black Americans' life expectancy is comprised not only of disease, but also in the large part of the weathering effect of racism, a concept coined by public health researcher Arline T. Germanius, that the constant stress of living in a racist society wears down the body like a rock being worn on the outdoor elements. Public health advocates say the factors such as lack of healthy food choices in black neighborhoods and the lack of green spaces that encourage outdoor exercise lower the quality of life and increase daily stress. The history of the medical racism that drives higher rates of mistrust among black folks can lead to delays in people seeking preventatives care like screenings, which they are key to early diagnosis and treatment. Add that to toxic masculinity, which encourages aggression, toughness, and invincibility, and the ability of black men to reach optimal health and well-being erodes. It's a gumbo mix of risks, said Dr. Italo Brown, a clinical assistant professor of emergency medicine at Stanford University. For rappers, the health risks are compounded by what it means to create an art in the public eye and punishing schedule of appearances, marketing strategies to highlight violence and bragging rights, the 24/7 navigation of social media, and the pressure of being slingshotted into the top 1% essentially overnight, he said. Exposure to vices and high-risk behavior grows, and leaving them are even more vulnerable. Hold on. And leaving it is even more vulnerable. I'm trying to get this thing right. Okay, we'll do it like this. Even more vulnerable. This is not happenstance, said Brown. The narrative that rappers are passing away due to only violence and drugs is not what the data illustrates, he said. It doesn't explain the total risk that hip hop artists face. The business structure within hip hop is not set up to protect artists' health, experts say. With record labels, they're essentially contract laborers. They don't get health care, they don't get retirement funds. Why are we not talking about health plans for hip hop artists? It shouldn't surprise us that they are passing away early. Neil, a New York native who was born and raised in the Bronx and now studies black masculinity and pop culture, wonders if the language of quote unquote manning up hip hop culture lives to encourage black men to endure pain and health issues while discouraging them to seek help. DMX, for example, known for his macho persona, in the 2020 People's Party interview with Talib Kweli, I learned that I had to deal with the things that hurt me. I didn't really have anybody to talk to in the hood. Nobody wants to hear that. Talking about your problems is viewed as a sign of weakness when in actuality is one of the bravest things that you can do. DMX struggled with addiction throughout his career and passed away of a cocaine-induced heart attack in 2021 at the age of 50. Neil would love to see hip hop culture embrace the idea of artists going to the doctor and seeking support on a regular basis. Quote unquote, part of hip hop is this idea that we're invincible. We're not. If you remember, I also want to say Fredo Santana, he passed away at like the age of 27. How old was Fredo? Fredo Santana was like 27, and it was from kidney failure. And Fredo was addicted to lean. And Fredo said he sipped lean to deal with the PTSD of living in, Chirac, the hood, whatever you want to call it, and things of that sort. Let me see how old he was. Aged. He was, Fredo was 27. Fredo was 27. So add him to the list as well. Neil remembers Jay-Z's 444 album in which he raps, "My therapist said I relapsed." In the subsequent interviews in 2017, where the rap star revealed how therapy was helping him in the process of a lifetime of suppressed emotions that led him to maintain a hard masculine shell. In a podcast interview entitled Rap Radar that spring, Jay-Z talked more about wellness in the music industry. "Quote unquote, we have to watch our health, our physical health and what we're doing to our bodies, but also our mental health. A lot of people are going through a lot of trauma. You're too embarrassed to get help for it, especially in these neighborhoods where we grow up." These headlines that ran after an album that shed light on the battles that run parallel to what it means to be a black man in America and how it disrupts their mental health. "Quote unquote, Jay-Z opened up about therapy and masculinity," T Vogue wrote. Buzzle said how Jay-Z's 444 may destigmatize mental health. In 2023, a group of hip hop legends, including Fat Joe, Rick Ross, Busta Rhymes, and Method Man, French Montana, Chuck D, joined together in a public service announcement that called for price transparency in healthcare by hospitals and insurance companies. And artist Nasir Nas Jones launched the Paid in Full Foundation, aimed to provide financial support for hip hop pioneers, which would support quality healthcare. And you think about Styles P. Healthcare is a big thing for him and his wife. He even retired from his solo rap career. He's still doing stuff with the Locks, but he retired as a solo artist to focus primarily on health in the black community and with black men. Changing what you can. A lot of forces make it difficult for black men to effectively prioritize their health, said Griffith from Georgetown. "Quote unquote, the only way to understand that it is to understand the conditions and the context of the lives of black men. It is not enough to just look at them and as just men. It's not enough to just look at them as just black," he said. "It's important for them to take action on what's within their control and not only take on too much stress regarding what's outside of their control. Those crushingly large issues of systemic racism that lie outside the scope of individual choices," said Griffith with Georgetown. "Black men don't necessarily go to the doctor for preventive screening." Oh, man. He said he recommends folk prioritize routine checkup and blood work, as well as finding ways to celebrate without compromising health. That means limiting alcohol consumption with high sugar and salt diets. "Rappers, quote unquote, are experiencing what so many black men experience," said Alfred Young Jr., a sociology professor at the University of Michigan. "When some of Young's favorite rappers started passing away young, he started accepting that the early guard of the hip hop generation had suddenly become the old generation. He hopes that the recent passings can help drive a conversation about black men's health. He never thought that hip hop could allow for discussions around healthcare and health disparities." "Quote unquote, maybe in this moment will trigger black men to think about what's going on," he said. "Rather than spend too much time sad or disappointed, quote unquote, I hope this can be channeled into educational opportunity." Man, shouts out to freaking Capital B. And they need our support and things of that sort. Man, shouts out to Capital B, bro. Y'all support Capital B. I'm gonna link this story and then you can scroll to the bottom and support them yourself and things of that sort. Doing great work, and that's the necessary journalism that we need at a time like this. So shouts out to Capital B. And shouts out to my brother Phil Lewis for sharing the story. Amazing platform. He knows how to use it responsibly. I really appreciate him. Here we go. The culture vibe. Same thing. D'Angelo, Richard Roundtree, and Chadwick Boseman are among the black men we lost to gastrointestinal cancers such as colon and pancreatic cancer. These diseases are taking too many of our icons. Please get your regular screenings. Yep. And happy news. Happy birthday to Raven's mama. The beautiful Tykea Crystal Kamaya, who recently turned 63. She was 40 years old when That's So Raven premiered. So happy news, positive news from the Positive Black Content page. Jeez Louise, man. Something happy. And also in happy black news. Big Boy confirmed this by posting this. Killer Mike, Sleepy Brown, and JID will be inducting Outkast into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Shout out to Jid, shout out to Killer Mike, and shout out to Sleepy Brown, man. Some real Atlanta stuff, man. Shout out to Andre 3000. Y'all think Andre 3000 coming out the house this year? I think the ceremony's in New York. It's not in Cleveland. It should be in Cleveland every year, but that's a whole nother conversation. I think it's in New York this year. And Andre 3000, he's got to come out the house, man. Liberation and Spodioli Dopalicious are two of the best pieces of music in all genres. Facts. They're like, why did they let Jid do this? He doesn't belong here. That's crazy. Someone said, why aren't they using Earth Gang? I wanted to see what's going on. They're like, why not Earth Gang? No, Earth Gang, they're literally a model after them. What a lost opportunity. I used to think this too, but it's come from the 3,000 Stacks tree of Atlanta rap. They both came from. I don't know. One of these is not like the others, but they've always been proponents of the next generation, whatever is next. Even though Jid, you know what I'm saying, is Jid is like older, like I think he's like 33, 34 or whatever. How old is Jid, bro? Before I just throw a fake age on him. How old is Jid? Is 34. So even though Jid is 34, he's still like an artist coming to the forefront like recently, ever since the ceiling challenge and stuff like that. So ever since then, you know, they've always been proponents for that. They've been, you know, fans of Childish Gambino, Kid Cudi, Rory were their openers for the At Last concerts in Atlanta and Centennial Park and stuff like that. So, you know, they didn't have the celebration yet, so I get to watch it. Yeah, congratulations. I'm listening to Hey Y'all right now, and then this post comes on. I love Andre 3000. Congratulations to you, Mr. Andre. Congrats to the greatest duo ever. Can we get a reunion tour? Ain't happening. So Outkast will not be performing, I presume. Y'all took the city and the South and mixed it with cosmic consciousness and turned it into hip hop, into scripture. I salute the architects who made the vibration sound like liberation. Shouts out. ATLiens and Equimini are two of the best albums of all time. Song after song. This is the soundtrack of my youth and still now. Timeless tunes. Congrats on the honor, bro. Well deserved, and thank you very much for decades of great rap music. I brought the first Cast album without even hearing a single song. I've been a fan ever since. From two teenagers with a dream. Salute to you guys. Sir Lucius, I grew up on Outkast, as many as did. Y'all deserve this. Excuse me. Let me get 2 tickets, folks. Folks always asking for some, huh? The cream will always rise to the top. All right, let me go. I got some stuff to handle and stuff to do, so let me keep this thing moving. Charlie Puth on Real Music. Hold on, let me reshare. Because we don't have any audio right now on the share screen. And I would have been sitting here quietly just staring at the screen.
Is ever going to completely take over human-made music. Mainly because what makes human-made music so special are its imperfections. For instance, I can tell AI to go make a song right now, and the drums are most likely going to sound boring and bland. Not very inspiring. And the song Stronger, made by Kanye West, who is human, has an open hi-hat sound as the snare drum. Interesting. AI will sometimes take every mistake out of a song. Sometimes those mistakes add to the vibe. When you listen to Hey Jude by the Beatles, at 2 minutes and 58 seconds, you'll hear Paul McCartney say, "Oh, effing hell," because he played the wrong chord. Here's just the vocals if you don't believe me. Sting sat on the piano at the very beginning of Roxanne. They kept it in. Another thing AI will sometimes do is make every song a perfect tempo. 1, 2. But music was meant to breathe. Take September by Earth, Wind and Fire. At the beginning of the song, it starts out at this tempo. Song, we're much faster. We never even noticed. AI is never going to wipe us off the planet creatively. Like every new piece of technology that comes around every decade, we humans have to learn how to work with it to make music that no one's ever heard before. We are all imperfect beings, but that's what makes art relatable.
Shout out to Charlie Puth, man. He knows his stuff. He knows his stuff. I love when like musicians can show like how like genius they are and stuff like that and what makes them special. You're not playing against each other. You're playing against the coaches.
No,
but don't want to break it to you, but you're not playing against each other, you're playing against
Oh no. You're playing against the culture. So here's what went down. I lost to Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics coaches by 53 points in the media versus coaches scrimmage at Auerbach Center today. It was probably the most lopsided basketball game I've ever played in, but I also had the time of my life. That's crazy. I lost to Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics coaches by 53 points, and it was the time of my life. Here we go. At the conclusion of practice, Joe Mazzulla was asked about the media pickup game that was scheduled later in the day in the Auerbach Center. I don't know how to break it to you, Mazzulla told reporters, but you're not playing against each other. You're playing against the coaches. And then he walked off. And true to his word, Mazzulla laced up after the Celtics practice concluded alongside 6 extremely talented assistant coaches ready for the Celtics media versus Celtics coaches full court basketball game that was sponsored by the Junior Celtics Academy and New Balance. Those coaches, former NBA players Phil Presley and Deshaun Butler, as well as 4 former college basketball stars. Fairmont State University's God Sam God Jr., Duke University's Emil Jefferson, Richmond's Tony Dobbins, and Bucknell's DJ Mickley. The final score, 57-4. I think you can guess who came out on top. Jeez Louise, 57-4, is it? Yeah. Hey, yo. Yo. All the while, Celtics stars watched from above, a grin plastered across Jaylen Brown's face as the game progressed. Celtics center Luke Garza hardly looked away from the demolition that was taking place. Anyone want to do media? Brown belted down at reporters after the final buzzer sounded. I will note Brown did cheer on media throughout the scrimmage. Thank you, Jaylen. How Joe Mazzulla and Celtics coaches destroyed the media. It's hard to even describe what went down in the game. To describe it as a disaster for its reporters would be an understatement. The sheer gap in athleticism, speed, size, instincts, you name it, it felt so insurmountable that I hardly pinpoint what even went down. I love to take a look at the box score, but the amount of live ball turnovers that we occurred will probably make me sick. What I do know is certain that Celtics media conglomerate was so thoroughly outplayed that just getting to the ball past half court felt like a victory. A rebound, I got one. It felt like a touchdown. Hitting the rim on a shot attempt, practically a cause of celebration. Hey, yo, bro, he playing for real. It felt like the coaches rarely missed, but special shout out to player development coach God Sham God Jr., who absolutely is lights out. The game served as an unneeded reminder of the ridiculous disparity between us regular people and elite average. Believe it or not, there were multiple former college basketball players among us. Dang, it is especially humbling to remember that as massive as the gap was between the coaching staff and the media, the Celtics players themselves as a whole were in a whole different stratosphere. Team media scored 4 points. Shout out to Forbes, Bobby, Chris Krivitsky, as Boston.com's Kari Thompson for finishing their layup. Shout out my boy Kari. Kari scored. Hey, Kari's like 6'7", bro. Kari's like 6'7", 6'8", bro. And honestly, if we play that game over 100 times, the final score will round out to 57-4 every time. And as frustrating as I was to not be able to dribble or convert simple passes, I couldn't fight the immense feeling of gratitude and joy that I felt throughout my bloodbath. Here we are in the Auerbach Center, home of the Boston Celtics. Each and every single time I contested a shot or hit the deck diving for a loose ball, I reminded myself of where I was, who I was playing against. A couple of times I picked up Mazzulla myself, just for the heck of it. But why wouldn't you want to guard the Celtics head coach? I fell in love with the game of basketball when I was 11 years old. I always sucked at sports. Tennis, volleyball, dodgeball, track, you name it. During gym class, I usually read a book on the mat in the corner, gossiped with friends, or tried to convince my gym teachers to let me go to the library. True story, I swear. It wasn't because I disliked sports. It's just no fun for me to being absolutely terrible at anything. Everything changed the first day I saw a basketball go through the net. It took everything, I mean everything, to get to the point where I got good enough at one sport that I made the high school basketball team. I made the varsity basketball team was a result of hours and hours of three-point attempts every night. Shout out to my dad for the late night assists, coupled with the obsessive passion for the sport that I truly believe very few people have left. My incredibly mediocre high school basketball career remains my most prized accomplishment, no matter what I achieve in the future. In my senior year, I was somewhat on a heater for about 2 months. That stretch of basketball still remains everything to me almost a decade later. Sometimes I replay my best ever game, an 8 3-pointer, against our rival school, Newton North, just because I still can't fathom how cool of a feeling it was for the basket, truly feeling as big as the ocean. I wish I were good enough to play basketball as a job, like the players I cover. I wasn't even good enough to play in college, a reality that became difficult to reckon with as I neared the end of my senior season and cried after every game. But covering the Celtics and the WNBA is not a bad consolation prize. Every day I pinch myself on my way to work, quote unquote, because I still can't fathom that, quote unquote, work means watching basketball, talking basketball, and writing about basketball. I'm confident that gratitude will never fade. Celtics coaches versus Celtics media was probably the most lopsided game of basketball I will ever partake in. It was also the time of my life. I can hope we do it again. Shouts out. That was a great story. She wrote that thing. I ain't gonna lie. She wrote that. She wrote that now. And then she got a DM. She said it's nice to get the full athlete's experience. 4 points, you haven't said. And there it is. So we'll keep going. Big Mensa Street. I saw this and I thought it was funny. Someone made a compilation of Big
Up late last night scrolling. So Chance album came out Friday. So Trump said he want to send the National Guard into the rack. Today is the 4-year anniversary of the day I stopped drinking. So Trump has declared war on Chicago using an AI meme of him in a Kid Rock hat, flanked by helicopters, burning the city down. Now, I don't want to say I told you so. I've been teaching myself filmmaking, and it's such a beautiful analogy for life. Damn, so they got Jimmy Kimmel up out of here. Dan brought him back. They doing anything in this motherfucking country. MAGA rappers making country songs about lynching. Trump announced he's pulling $8 million from the Chicago public school system. That broke my heart. This is how I manifested the director for my new music video. Now, when I told y'all Senegal jollof rice is better than Nigeria and Ghana, niggas called me everything except a child of God. The federal government has begun their war on Chicago. I got this theory that Mansa Musa's pilgrimage to Mecca was the single most impactful event in the creation of our modern world. Now, when I said I shot my new video on a phone, motherfucker said I was cap. I visited the apartment building that ICE raided in Chicago.
Hey, man. Shouts out to Big Mensa. Shouts out to hip hop. Shouts out to hip hop artists doing the work, intelligent beings, geniuses in their own right. You know what I'm saying? And at least trying, bro. Like, bro is trying to educate himself and stay educated and stay up to date and know what's going on. So shouts out to Big Mensa, man. Shouts out to everybody trying. Shouts out to Lareezy, man. Keep trying. Keep trying. Shouts out to PJ Morton. What are we talking about? The USC Thornton School of Music has appointed Solange as the school's first scholar in residence. She will teach a course on music curation, host student-focused workshops, and more. Shouts out to Solange, who's continuing to focus on education. After opening up her own like digital library and stuff like that, now she's becoming a professor. Professor Solange. Shouts out to Kaylin Brown. Excuse me. Sorry. Over the last 2 decades, Solange has built an expansive career that has no bounds. Under the auspices of St. Haran, a multidisciplinary institution that she started in 2013, the Grammy-winning artist and curator has fearlessly dived into worlds of music, choreography, design, architecture, visual art, and more. Most recently, St. Haran launched a free library in the hopes of preserving rare Black and Brown literature and making it accessible to others. Now Solange Knowles is bringing her expertise to the USC Thornton School of Music, where she has been named the school's first all-school scholar in residence. Working across all areas of the school, whose instruction offerings include pop music, art leadership, and the music industry, Solange will also join the Dean's Creative Vanguard program. She's the second member to be invited to the Distinguished program, following her frequent collaborator, Raphael Sadiq, who joined in December. For Solange, whose work is deeply rooted in research, taking on a role feels like a quote-unquote culmination of the many practices she's embodied throughout her career, she said. Quote unquote, I'm a GED graduate, Solange told the Times. Quote unquote, I was a teenage mom. I was pregnant with my son at 17. So I didn't go further my education in the classical sense. But I'm really blessed and honored to have enriched in those other parts of education through my art, through my travel, and through the globalization of my life. She added, so quote unquote, have the access and broader tools as a scholar in residence to enrich that and deepen that is really exciting for me. Solange announced that a residency on Monday during the sold-out talk at USC featuring the Thornton School of Music Dean, Jason King, and St. Haran collaborators Chantel Arroyo, Diane Shabazz, Vernery, and Sabla Stays. Solange Custom Design 3-year residency, which kicks off this week, will focus on working with the Thornton leadership to develop the school's first curricular and programmatic offerings in the field of music curation, a fast growing area of the music industry that includes creative directors, documentary filmmakers, DJs, and people who work in experimental design. King said Solange is slated to teach a class at the school in collaboration with St. Huron, King, and other faculty that will, quote unquote, explore the process of constructing curational, curatorial frameworks alongside the context, the craft, and creation of musical landscapes, according to USC. The class is tentatively titled Records of Discovery, Mythologies for Music and Cultural Curatorial, curate. All right, so curate, curatorial, curatorial practices, and will launch in fall 2027. The course will formally be announced closer to its launch, according to USC. In her new role, Solange will curate student-focused conversations and workshops with members of her St. Huron team that will include one surrounding, quote-unquote, the making of El Dorado Ballroom, the acclaimed series that she brought to the Walt Disney Concert Hall in October 2024. Additionally, she will participate in USC's forthcoming symposium, where she will discuss women in classical work and the work of composer Julia Perry. Although Solange has worked in other universities in the past, she said it has now become the best time to do a residency. For decades now, I've watched the evolution of music and music curation, and I feel like I have something adequate to add to the conversation, said Solange, who released her first album solo at 15. Quote unquote, I feel inspired by the idea of my 15-year-old self being able to have sort of walked me through the footsteps of what I was able to embark on. So if I can in any world be a vessel of guidance, it's really just that short that warms my heart. I'm given the opportunity to be in that space. She added, being able to help students navigate what that is for them is like a dream job. King, a longtime fan of Solange's work, said that he thinks that she's the best person to teach music curation at the school because of her ability to create worlds, and as she's done via St. Huron and through her albums When I Get Home and A Seat at the Table. Quote unquote, I think that the work she does as a music curator is very singular and very unique. So I'm hoping that she's able to bring the same uniqueness into the classrooms and her programming, said King, who served on the board of the Lena Horne Town Hall Prize. They gave its inaugural award to Solange in February 2020. I think she herself will be a model for how it is done with the kind of work and do it differently. Shouts out to Solange. She did something like she's doing all these symposiums and working with Broadway and all these things. And she's really just kind of knocking out, like, I don't know, like really maximizing her artistry and that just kind of keeping it confined to her solo artistry and things of that sort, and being, a singer and a songwriter or a producer, but being a singer, songwriter, producer, a DJ, a curator, a cultural curator, a director of a library, all of these things that she does, I have to salute her for that. So shouts out to Solange, man, and congratulations once again. All that praising the little, things she does, praising the little altered things, that's still weird. But in terms of just maximizing her artistry, is truly inspiring. I'm not gonna lie to you. Amy Robach and TJ Holmes have announced their engagement. Don't let your wife get in the way of your wife. Amy Robach and TJ Holmes announced their engagement 3 years after the GMA scandal. The couple revealed the big news in an October 14th episode of their podcast. They have a podcast from Aaron Clark. Crazy. TJ Holmes and Amy Robach are engaged. Now, if one of them ends up cheating, then what? The former GMA3 What You Need to Know anchor 52 and a journalist 48 announced their engagement on October 14th episode of their Amy and TJ podcast. Quote unquote, we are sharing with all of you that we are engaged, and we've been engaged for about just a month now, Robach told the listeners. Holmes added, quote unquote, we wanted you all to know before anybody else was able to. We've learned that lesson, I guess, in the past about our relationship. Oh my goodness. Holmes then joked about how his fiance had been dangling a ring in everybody's faces that they could, and nobody would say a word. It was in 3 massive football fields and 3 weekends in a row, wearing my engagement ring very proudly, very excitedly. Keep waiting for somebody to point it out and ask me, hey, what's that? And it never happened, Robach said. And if people saw it, maybe they were just being polite, she recalled. Robach revealed about how in the past she would post a picture on social media amid their secret engagement, but Holmes stopped her and said Babe, do you see what's very prominent in that picture and what's in that photo? So I decided not to post it because I didn't want it to know what the photo was about. Holmes then chimed in. We were intimately engaged with our friends, very close people for the past 3 weekends. All of them are going to think back and go, oh my gosh, how did we miss that? The couple promised to share some details about how it all went down at a later date. In the meantime, they said that they have just been, quote unquote, celebrating with family. Roebuck and Holmes first sparked dating rumors in November 2022. Their romance made headlines because Roebuck was married to actor Andrew Shue at the time, while Holmes was married to attorney Marley Fiebig. However, a source told People that there was no overlap between the anchors' romance and their respective marriages. Okay, all right. After divorcing their previous partners and publicizing their relationship, the XGMA3 co-anchors hit their relationship milestones, including moving in together. Roebuck, who is also married to Tim McIntosh, with whom she shares her daughters, Ava and Annalise, from 1996 to 2009, shared her vision for a third wedding from February 2024 on an episode of the Amy and TJ podcast. She said that she wanted to do something smaller and more intimate. A justice of the peace, Vegas, she said. Is there a justice of peace in Vegas? Holmes asked, adding, quote unquote, I thought that Elvis did them. That's where you would want to have it. Continuing to share their wedding vision with Holmes, Roebuck said, I really would want to have a very intimate gathering, and I will absolutely run off and elope somewhere. I think that's probably, if I had to pick, I pick eloping, and I'm going to Fiji or somewhere really nice and far away, she added. So there it is. Apparently, their romantic timelines did not overlap. Didn't their exes get together? Or they tried to get together? Or is it coming?
I got apple juice. I got apple juice, and she grabbed my apple juice. I was like, that's mine. She's like, what was that? Knock that little nigga out. That's what
Yo. Not on the donkey, bro.
I was like, that's mine. She's like, what was that? Knock that little nigga out. That's what
Bro, Dante is real life funny, bro. He's real life funny. They stole Gorilla's food.
Gorilla gonna be mad as a bitch. Oh. Damn, Glorilla. Thank you, Glorilla.
Oh no, that's crazy, bro. You can even use the tongs, bro. That's disgusting, dog. That's disgusting, bro. Chicken wings and watermelon will have you perform is diabolical. This is weird. Poor Glow. Second time her stuff has been trespassed and stolen from. Big Bro's breathing sounds like the type of stuff that he do on a regular Tuesday. There's nothing funny about this. Nah, picking it out with your hands is crazy, bro. That's disgusting. And then splashing the dog. This is the last thing. Bro, look at the dog's face, bro. Look at bro, the dog is already up, bro. Bro, why would you do that, bro? Why would you do that, bro? Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, bro. He was wide awake too. He just a dog. Got the human slightly. What did the dog do? Nah, this ain't funny. Yo. He's sleeping in a Nike Tech like their pajamas is purely outrageous. He must have fell asleep, bro. You once I saw him splash the dog. The dog wasn't even asleep. All right, man. You guys, please take care of yourselves, man. I gotta get out of here. I got a date of stuff to do. You all have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a good evening, have a good night, have a good day. If nobody else told you today, I care for you. My name is Rashad Milligan. If you are new to the channel, this is the road to 10K subs. Please follow along because I'm live on this channel each and every single day, as I've been for the past. I'm gonna wait for the camera to work again. I'm gonna wait for the. I'll literally, as I've been for the past 224 days. Nobody else has told you I care for you. I don't even know if I said that. But yeah, I'm out of here. I got a day of stuff to do. Peace.
Rashad, why you didn't hit me up?
Hey, Rashad.
What's up, Rashad?
Thank you, Rashad.
Brother, I love you, brother.
What's up, Rashad? What it do, boy?
Hey, Rashad.